I came and chatted with this child and said, "Can you see how what you said affected this sibling?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Guess what? In families, we make mistakes and then we have fresh starts." And he, somewhat apologetically just said, "Actually, I really think, but I watched the reset in him, and I've learned that for myself as well, that there are times that even I will surprise myself in an unkind moment and think, I need a fresh start.
Life gets easier if we figure it out together. Welcome to The Lisa Show.
Welcome to a special edition of The Lisa Show. We've got your Council of Moms today. And here today to kick things off, we have...
I'm Kristin. I'm the mom of 6 kids, 5 of which are teenagers. Our youngest name is Max, so we like to joke that we reached our max.
Yeah.
And my name is Brooke. I also have 6 kids, ages 19 down to a 6-year-old. And at this point, everyone can dress themselves. So that's our big accomplishment.
It's a big win.
Goodness. And I have 3. My name is Janae. I've got 3 from 10 down to 3 years old. And we're hoping we can snag another little tiny one at some point soon. They're taking their sweet time, but hopefully soon.
Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate you sharing your wisdom and being able to have a conversation that is going to be helpful to a lot of different kinds of moms, getting different perspectives. Because, this is what we do as moms. We're just making it up as we go. And we need each other for this kind of connection, but also for different ideas. So to get these ideas sort of rolling, I want to give you a list of rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yes.
Ready. Okay, we're going to start with this one. Greatest thing to come out of the COVID pandemic for you?
I would say definitely a slower pace, not having so many games and practices and lessons, just to kind of be home a little more was great.
I totally agree with Kristin. Kind of a clearing of our schedule and having all of my teenagers stay home.
And I have 3 little kids, so they're still kind of home all the time, but it was wonderful to have my husband home with us too. I think he was surprised about how much he enjoyed working from home for a while.
That's awesome. All right, is your house the party house or the quiet house?
Party house.
Definitely party house.
Okay, we're half and half. We throw awesome, fun, big parties. It's a good time. I love it. But the other time, it's classical music and nice, soft, instrumental Disney songs. It's a little more serene half the time.
I love it. Okay, well, what is your mom superpower?
I would say my superpower is the ability to see the good and find positive even in struggling circumstances.
Mine is less deep. I love reading aloud with my kids. We do a lot of reading aloud. That's my superpower.
I love that. I think my superpower is probably my children have no doubt in their mind that I love them. I gush all over them all the time.
I love that. This is really sweet. Okay, this is a really serious one, though. Soup or stew?
Soup.
Stew.
Stew.
Oh, interesting. I'm going to say soup, even though I'm the only one in my house who likes it. Okay, what's the thing that you're looking most forward toward when you become an empty nester?
Traveling. Lots of traveling.
Yes, travel and probably an occasional uninterrupted conversation with my husband.
I love how you say an occasional. You're not even I'm sure something will happen.
Yes, exactly.
Goodness, I'm like that spontaneity. We want to go to a movie? We're going to go. We want to go to Cancun? Okay, let's go.
I can't even get through the question without tearing up, though. So I'm not going to answer. Okay, it's not allowed to be diamonds. What is your best friend?
Chocolate.
Cozy blankets.
Oh, I'm so dorky. Just my husband. Dude, you guys, I'm so obsessed with that man. He is my favorite thing.
Okay, can I re-answer?
Yeah. Yeah, you're
my
sorry,
husband
babe.
as well.
I'm so dorky. Okay, maybe my running shoes. But dude, my husband, he's a cutie.
Okay, so night owl or morning lark?
Morning lark.
Morning lark who's forced to be a night owl.
Okay, ooh.
Oh, night owl. Yeah.
Okay. I know. I'm a morning lark who was a night owl who constantly has identity crisis. You're like, I want it. No, you got to wake up. It's weird.
I hear you. I
You
hear you
know,
there.
it's a struggle. Okay, what is the hardest part of motherhood?
I think for me, the hardest thing is when you see your kids struggling. I'm not going to get teary. I'm a crier, but when you
me
see your
too. You're
kids
safe with me.
struggling and you thought it was hard when you struggled through things, but then you watch them and your heart just like, you so bad want to rescue. But sometimes you just can't and you shouldn't.
I love that. I think also for me, it is unresolvable situations that I want to solve, but that only time can bring the answer to, and that it's like a puzzle. I'm constantly trying to assemble and see the picture, but I can't resolve the issues that are there at the time.
Ooh, these are good.
That is
No
good.
pressure, Janae. What do you
The
got?
hardest part of motherhood. Oh, you guys, that's a really difficult question. Oh, probably just knowing that there's evil and sketchiness out there. Every time I'm reminded that there's evil and sketchiness out there and that there are people that specifically want my kids. Like they want their time, they want their attention, they want to skew their perceptions of things. Like, that's to try and protect them from that. I think that might be the hardest part for me.
Ooh, these are good. Okay, this is on a different sort of wavelength. What's your mom jam? Like that song that's just like, yeah, this is me in motherhood, or this is how I feel.
Oh man, that's a good question.
Right?
Very good question. Okay, so my teenagers are a huge influence on what music I listen to
Good.
because
I
I
like
let
it.
them control the radio a lot. But there's this song, the artist is called Feel Good, so I love that his name is called Feel Good.
Sure, don't
But he has
know.
a song called Everything's Good, and he talks about that his mom told him he could do anything, but he didn't go to college, but everything's good, So I'm like, okay, so if my kids choose not to go to college or do this or that, like, it's okay. Everything's good, right?
Right. Can you sing it? You don't have to.
Yeah. Nothing. Everything's good. Everything's good.
I love it.
Let's cut you a CD.
I
soon.
know.
Oh yeah. This is my claim to fame right here.
I love it. Brooke, you're next.
Okay, so blasting in my kitchen at home, I'd say we often have the Beatles. A little Here Comes the Sun in the morning kind of gets us going. A lot of show tunes. So, One Day More. We'll just burst into a little Les Mis. And then a little Greatest Showman with the family, I'd say we sing.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, I love it. Okay, do you guys know it's called Married Life from Pixar's Up by Michael Giacchino? Do you know that song?
Remind me.
No? Okay, it's instrumental. So you're gonna make me sing it. It's like da 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 da.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and again, half and half. So half like my mom jam, it's that where it's just like light and wonderful and buoyant and like soft and special and precious.
Yeah.
Then there's also the other side of me and our family where it's like EDM, babe. Like some electronic dance music pumping through the morning, and we're just getting ready for school, and we're happy and excited and energetic and like, heck yes.
I love it. I love it. Okay, now Whitney Houston wrote, I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way.
Oh, you needed to sing that.
I know.
You made me sing over here.
Decided long ago. No, anyway, so what is the most important thing that we teach them?
Man, I think maybe I'd have to go back and just think what I would tell myself,
Yeah.
And I would tell myself or teach them to just be confident in who they are and just trust in those feelings that are right, Like sometimes we second guess ourselves or we allow the wisdom of others to influence when we're like, I knew better, So I guess just teach them that.
Good.
I love that. I think for me, the first thought that came to my mind is a sense of who they really are. Both obviously eternally, you're a child of God, but also you're a member of the Hoops family. You're a member of a tribe and a group of people that love you and support you no matter where you go and what you do.
So good.
That is exactly just who you are and that you're so special and wonderful, but also, again, with like my mom's superpower, the fact that you cannot comprehend how precious you are. You are so overwhelmingly loved by your parents, but also your heavenly parents as well.
We have some additional questions from listeners of The Lisa Show that I have here. And just as a reminder, we love that kind of interaction. This is what this podcast is really about, is making these kinds of connections in real life. Like, it doesn't just end here. We've had some comments about, hey, I'd like to find my own council of moms, this to get different perspectives and people in different stages of life and different mothering. And so this is our chance to do it, but you can also participate in that by going to The Lisa Show. We're all over social media, like on Facebook and Instagram, and you can leave a question there and we will be able to see it. And this is where we get our questions for the shows. You could also email us at thelisashow@byu.edu as well to get another chance to ask your question. So I'm going to dive just right into these questions. Our first question for the council is from Lauren in Elko, Nevada. She said, there are lots of ways I could phrase this. I will try to do it in the most positive way possible. Sometimes my kids are not so kind. So my question is, can you teach kindness to kids? Is it something completely learned by example, or are there ways to encourage kids to be kind? I'm a fairly kind person, not perfect, but I am not sure that my kindness is coming through. I want them to treat others as they would want to be treated, but maybe I am kind deficient. Kindly yours, Lauren in Elko, Nevada.
That's a great question. And I want to tell Lauren you're not alone, because I feel like I struggle with this too. Like, even sometimes within our own home, I feel like my kids sometimes forget to be kind to each other. And I wish I had an instruction book on how teaching kids to be kind. I do think our examples go a long way, but I also think sometimes just pointing out when they can see someone else's feelings have been hurt and teach them empathy, and maybe even just talk about, hey, can you think about a time when maybe someone spoke unkindly to you or treated you? How did that make you feel? And then also, like, I really think when you just bring it like really back home to like our example of Jesus Christ, right? And his example, and just striving to be like him. I mean, obviously he's perfect and we all struggle, but hey, it's okay. If you made a mistake, it's okay, and to say sorry and to learn from it and grow from it and allow those mistakes to also be learning experiences. So I don't know. I'm still in there trying to figure it out, though.
I love it. You're in it. You're in the trenches.
Those are such great thoughts. And I love this question. I think one little example comes to mind of a day that I guess I won't say who. One of our little people said something that was unkind. And I could see in this child their regret, right? Instantly. And the feeling that came of they knew they hadn't acted in their best way. And the other child was upset and, Mom, can you believe,
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a thought come, let's have a fresh start. And that's kind of become a little bit of a family mantra when we make mistakes is, do we need a fresh start? And I came and chatted with this child and said, can you see how, just like Kristin was saying, can you see how what you said affected this sibling? And he said yes, and he was emotional. And I said, should we just try that conversation one more time? So I called the upset sibling in and she grumbled, I don't even want to, but gave him a chance. And I said, guess what? In families, we make mistakes and then we have fresh starts. And he, somewhat apologetically just said, actually, I really think, but I watched the reset in him. And I've learned that for myself as well, that there are times that even I will surprise myself in an unkind moment and think, I need a fresh start. I'll step back. And I think there's real power in not always perfectly acting kind, but in trying and trying again.
Oh, I love that so much. Let's fresh start. Let's try, reset. Goodness. As far as, I'll be honest, so I've got my 10-year-old down to my 3-year-old, so younger kids. So we're still, at the basics of, explaining, oh, that wasn't super nice. And I'll say, I got naturally kind children. Like, kids aren't easy, but I got easy kids, if that makes sense. So I'm so grateful that that's something that they're naturally inclined to do. But when something goes kind of off, I realize that instead of just getting upset, sometimes I need to remember maybe they didn't actually know. Like, here's a little story. When I was young, I was in second grade, and my teacher was explaining, okay, guys, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this. And after each thing she said, I went, boring. She said something else, and I went, boring. And then she said something, and I said, boring, because I had seen it in a movie, and it had been funny. Like, and at the third time, she turned to me, and she goes, Janae, that is not nice. And oh, my tiny little second grader self just like imploded and was like, oh, that wasn't nice. Like, I still to this day, as a 36-year-old adult woman, remember how I felt. And I did not realize what I was doing was completely rude and inappropriate.
Yeah, because kids are still learning at that age,
we're still
especially.
learning. So that little experience that I remember so vividly has helped me when, like, my children do something and I want to quickly correct it. And I think the quick correction is a good thing, but I approach it a different way because they might actually not realize that that was mean. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think it's particularly pertinent today because with the advent of social media and people getting on, you don't get a lot of attention or likes or, accolades for that kind of kindness. It's for the snarky and for the sarcastic and for the stuff that really can hit not kind. They're not rewarded for kindness. And so I think as our kids get older too, talking about kindness in a different way becomes more important. So as your kids get older, what different kinds of conversations about being kind do you find yourself having?
I can think of one time I actually was on a field trip with my son. I think he was in 5th grade. And we got on the bus to head back to the school. And he didn't sit by me on the bus. And I was like, Jackson, like, why aren't you sitting by me? And he's like, Mom. And he noticed a boy had been crying in a seat. And he got up and sat by him. Aww. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you do your thing. But I think sometimes even just after that, we went home, we talked. I'm like, hey, like, that was really cool that you did that. But he was so quiet about it. Like, he wasn't saying, hey, Mom, I'm going to go do this. But just like, hey, and then talk about like, hey, that was really cool that you did that.
Sweet.
What made you want to do that? Or, and maybe helping them recognize and reaffirming that was a really
Pointing
good
it out.
choice. And I don't know, you get those little small rewarding moments as mothers. And then there's also those times when we have to be like, okay, well, what could we have done different? But I don't know, I think those, and then just helping point that out. And as they get older, I mean, then like bullying is a huge issue. So having conversations, I know that I saw a news story about some bullying that went on actually a school that my kids go to. And so my twin daughters are in 7th grade. And so I asked them, hey, do you see bullying? It was someone that of a different race that said he was getting called some things, and they're like, yeah, we see kids doing that, but this boy that we see doing that with, he's laughing. So is that bullying? I'm like, yeah, actually, it is. Like, he may be laughing, but he's probably going home and crying. So what can we do? Like, what can we do to stand up when you think they act like they're not hurt by it? But what do we do? So I don't know, sometimes we just have to have those difficult conversations.
I think that's a really good point. I know that one of my kids was bullied, had a bunch of friends who were really rough on him, and he would laugh along because that diffuses it, and it's so awkward, and you feel like you're the only one, and it was really difficult for him, and he had to actually like go and get like an entirely new group of friends, which when you're a teenager is like the hardest thing.
So scary.
And it's so scary. And so I do think that our conversations have to change because, with our kids, because it might not be them, but, some mom is like just praying that some other kid will, be kind and nice and see what's going on and change it. And so I think when it happens on social media, it becomes so much more difficult because it's harder for us as parents to see it, right? Like as moms, and I always just say to my kids, like, you you, at the end of the day, need to be good with who you are, like the integrity of who you are. Are you somebody that helps the underdog, or are you somebody that just goes with the crowd? Are you somebody that, are you with your group of friends? Do you worry what they're saying behind your back because of how you guys are? Like, you got to really take a look at it. And I find that you have to have those conversations earlier and earlier now, I think.
I love that. Because I think sometimes kindness is not instantaneously gratifying for the child. Sometimes it's being that lone voice that stands up or stands alone or defends or even comments something like, I don't agree.
Yeah,
or
this is sexist or racist.
Yes.
or mean
inappropriate, yeah.
or whatever it is, and to call it what it is. Because you're right. I think that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, and I love what Kristin's saying about it is sometimes difficult conversations with our kids and saying, have you seen this? What could you do about this? Or do you know anyone that is marginalized in this way? Or what are some things that you could proactively do rather than just if someone comes and sits by you and says, will you be my friend? You say, yes. No, instead it's walking into a lunchroom and saying, who's alone? Or I love that thought.
I love it. You guys really answered this question for kindness. And I just want to say one more thing, too. Like, in that question, it was like the example. Our kids are always watching us. Like, how we talk about ourselves or other people or how we treat others and what we do and what we highlight in a family. All of that is tied, don't you think, to kindness and to other values?
Completely.
How we talk about other people. Yeah, absolutely.
Dear Council of Moms, this is interesting. Can we talk exercise for a minute? I crave it, and if I'm being really honest, need it for my mental health. But how can I make it a priority? Sometimes I feel so selfish for taking the time to exercise. Other times, I don't feel selfish, just exhausted. In addition, an important aspect of exercise for me is just getting my kids away from their screens and playing outdoors. Some of my best memories of being a kid were playing outdoors and just, exercising without labeling it exercising. I have so many complicated feelings about this because I don't want to obsess over it, shame myself or others, etc. But I do know it's important. Help. Kira from Southern Utah.
Oh, boy.
Kira, I hear you.
Is this your aha sister moment? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And, the first thought that comes to my mind are the kind of seasons of motherhood where there are just times when certain things are more difficult than others. And exercise, I think, is one of those things that comes in and out of easiness in our lives in waves. I remember as a young mother feeling the exhaustion was physically tangible to myself. Like I would look in a mirror and be like, oh, bless you. Just
You look tired.
You look tired, exactly. But I love the question that you're asking about really the intrinsic value of finding time to nurture yourself, which I think is kind of what exercise often comes down to. And I think the season to find time to nurture ourselves is always, because when it gets to the point that we're in that truly depleted state, our ability to bless and love our families, it just diminishes and diminishes. And I've found that it's a constant game of reinvention for me. Oh, this form of exercise works now. Right now, in my current life, we happen to be able to get up early and get that done at the very beginning of the day, and that feels great. There's been other times where I, at the end of the day, think, I've got to go on a walk.
Yeah.
I have just got to go feel the air and reset in that way. So I think it's a continual reinvention in some ways, but I love that question.
Yeah,
That's
I
so
can
true.
really relate to that too because have had different phases of my life where you're like, oh, good, yeah, I have the time for this. It just because it makes sense. I'm going to fit this in here. And then other times where there's like, oh, there's just not any hours in the day. Or if I have a half an hour or an hour, then I need to sleep or I just need to stare at the wall. Or like, I mean, honestly, it just depends on that kind of phase. And also other people's schedules, right? Like, because that's, being in a family, you've got to like adjust to different schedules. And especially like if you're a single parent or you don't have a lot of money or you are particularly stressed out or you're a caregiver and you have other responsibilities, it can feel like it's a selfish thing. So I like that, Brooke, you point out that at its core, exercising and moving your body is not a selfish thing. It's an actual like need. It's different than, it's not just like a hobby. But sometimes it feels like it is.
Yes, like it's a self-interested desire, but really it's a fulfilling desire that makes you better able to love your family. I totally agree.
Very much so. I actually grew up in a home where I had a professional athlete as a dad. So exercise was a big, it was so fun. He's a distance runner. So it's not like we made lots and lots of money. We were fairly poor growing up, but he was impressive and just amazing. So I know that I grew up in a very unique way. And so exercise and just sports in general, all of that was so like natural and normal. And that's just how I grew up and what we did and so much fun. And I love it so much. But I had my 2 little boys and I got chronically ill for like a couple years actually. So that was the worst. So I went from being like super strong and working out every day. Like I think I was at the height of triathlon training and just was having so much fun with that. I felt wonderful and kind of overnight went from that to can't get off the couch, can't take a shower, like so sick. So that's a whole story for another day. But I missed my sports and everything so much, and I hated the fact that I didn't have the energy to like take my boys on a hike and like go outside and run around and throw the baseball, all of those things. And it took a minute for me to realize, okay, you have to approach that whole thing and have a relationship with exercise that's going to serve you and your family and not be a slave to it. So I couldn't, when I wanted to so much, you can't overdo it because then maybe that does get selfish if you're going for, I actually have seen plenty of examples of like, maybe working out 4 or 5 hours a day, being away from your kids is kind of not all that great. You're having a fun time, but maybe that's a little excessive. And then inverse of that, like if you just cannot, like if you don't have the energy like I did for a couple years to be able to go out and run or do whatever the exercise is, or if you have the energy to do that, but then that is literally all you can do the rest of the day, you're kind of wrecked. You don't feel guilty over that. We all just need to find that perfect balance. And I know that's hard. Like that's the name of the game of life.
Well, and it changes all the time, don't you think?
It changes all the time, yes. So when some seasons of life, like you were saying, Brooke, you're going to be able to have that be consistent and this wonderful, like really enriching part of your life. It's going to give you more energy and you're going to be a better mom because of it. And when you can't do that, when it actually is hindering the job that you can do as a mom, it's hard because it's like, oh, I should be doing this. I feel so lazy. I feel so, But if you can switch your perspective, and let me tell you, it took over that 2 years of being so sick and not being able to do stuff. I really had to switch that perspective and just realize like, okay, no, this is all I can do right now. And that is okay. Like if I can't go out there and be that amazing super mom that's handling all of it and is like super self-care and can, fit in my size 4 jeans and the whole bit, like that's not what's important. Just finding that place that you're in and being the best you so that you can be the best mom. That's what's most important. And you don't have to feel guilty.
Well, and that self-compassion becomes so paramount, right? Like I just remember when my kids were all really little and feeling so tired and overwhelmed and thinking, okay, let me be logical about this, like what to do. And I tried like group fitness classes, which I had never done before. It's just not like necessarily like my personality or whatever. And I went sort of reluctantly and just loved it. Like because I liked not thinking. about like, well, where am I going to run or what am I going to do? What exercises should I? Well, I don't know. It just became like one more mental task to do. And I loved going and with all of these like fun, ridiculous in the best way, like people who are like, woo, woo. Like it was so silly that I was like, oh, this is just fun. I don't have to think. They just tell me what to do. And then I feel great for the rest of the day. And I had actually more energy. And then like you're saying, I'd had different times in my life where I'm like, and especially about the year before COVID when my husband was really sick and we couldn't get sick, like going to a gym was just not going to happen. And so having to switch my mind frame, but still needing to work out. And then when things got really intense and when I was a full-time caregiver for a grown man, I had to work out or else I was going to hurt myself physically and I had to lift weights and I had to stay really healthy. So, and it's interesting because when I would exercise, even though I was working full time and I had 5 kids at home and I was caregiving, you would think that, you know, oh, now is not the time to exercise. But I didn't feel guilty about it during that season of my life because I thought, no, I have to because if I get sick or I can't pick up this grown man, this life does not work. So I'm going to lift these weights. I kind of laugh thinking about it now because I was like, lifting weights, like, so weird. So grateful for that. Like, and just had a new and a different, like, it wasn't about like fitting into a size or a certain weight. It was about like functioning. And I would love to be able to pass that on for my kids of like, you just want to feel good.
Right. And that's what exercise is like I see it in my husband too. Like he needs it. Absolutely. Like we're pretty religious about getting our exercise in daily. But I have gone through all these different phases of, we rarely go to the gym actually. We just kind of work out in our basement and have weights. But then there's been times where, you know, I'm doing workouts with my kids and they're doing the video with me and it can be really fun and interesting. Or you're trying to do sit-ups and you have like a baby crawling all over you and you're like, okay, this is going to be interesting, but you just have to be flexible and maybe think outside the box. The other thing, I think she mentioned getting her kids outside. And I think for me, that is one of my favorite memories with my children is we go out and play soccer games in the backyard or shoot basketball hoops and go on hikes. We love to adventure as a family, so we've gone mountain biking and backpacking. And I just think, man, being active as a family together is just such a healthy balance of developing relationships and also feeling good about ourselves physically. And so to not feel guilty about it. Like you said, it's something that we need to function and to feel good, and it's okay.
Yeah, I love it. We've solved it. I feel really good. I think we like you don't solve all of the questions, but I think it's like we're just validating, right? Like yes, it's worth the struggle. You're gonna have to change your tactics a lot of. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just sitting here thinking, I need a better plan right now, but now I'm just tired.
Don't you guys, give up.
Thank you. See, like I'm not going to give up. I just got to switch it up. Don't give up. Just switch it up. There you go. That's my new catchphrase.
Put it on a shirt.
Put it on a shirt. Then I'll run in that shirt. We'll see. Or maybe just walk. Briskly. Just walk. Meander.
Yes.
Whatever it takes.
Absolutely.
Whatever.
Dear Council of Moms, I have to tell you that because of your show, I've started my own Council of Moms in my neighborhood, which, side note, just thrills me to no end. I love it. We get together once a month and just share what's going on. No judgment, just sharing what we've done, what we're doing, and what we're attempting to do moving forward. So thanks for the life hack. And that's why I am emailing and what I'm emailing about, life hacks, apps, things you have figured out, best piece of mom advice, etc. Simple things that don't need a ton of explanation, but are just another mom's way of doing something that I might be able to incorporate into my motherhood. Y'all are awesome. Holly in Texas.
Ooh,
I can't wait to hear your guys' answers to this. That's a great question.
Isn't that a great question?
Great question.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. Don't start with me. Holy cow. I'm like waiting with bated breath. What are you going to tell me to help me out? Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see. What mom hacks do I have? Goodness.
It's kind of a hard question because you're like, what do I just do in normal life that I've learned that I just take for granted? Like putting extra garbage can liners at the bottom of the garbage can before you.
Oh, yeah.
But like, I just do that now. And I don't know when I learned how to do it. I'm sure I have my father to thank for that. But
Bless you, daddies, all the daddies that teach us how to work. Buying extra, like when things are on sale for like the kids' birthday parties, like there's like, here's a whole bunch of like just girl toys and boy toys so that when my kids get invited to birthday parties, I've already got like a gift for them to wrap up and take. I don't know.
smart. No, that's really great.
This is a tough question. I'm just trying to think of something specifically, but one thing that we've started doing that's an app, you said it, did you mention an app?
Yeah, she said app.
That we like, it's called the Green Light app, and it is a debit card that my kids can use, and then we pay them their allowances on it. But the trick is I have listed on there all their chores, and they have to check off their chores before they can get paid.
Nice.
So I don't have to track it so much. And it's so motivating because they want to get paid. In fact, and some of my kids forget to check it, and then I think they forget that they didn't get paid, and it's so great.
You don't have to say anything.
I don't have to say anything. They're like, I don't have any money. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Imagine that.
What could the problem be? User error? No.
So good.
That's satisfying.
Yeah, so that's one that we just really, anyway, I like it. I like that my kids learn natural consequences. I don't have to be the bad guy, you know?
I love natural consequences to things.
Yeah.
It is my favorite. Just like you just sit back and you have your popcorn and you just wait for it to happen and their little light bulb goes off. I love it.
Yeah.
I've got a mom hack. Outsource what you can do. Like, especially if you have older kids, for whatever reason, hate teaching my kids how to tie their shoes. To me, that is the worst thing. Because I'm not very good, I guess, at teaching them or whatever. And so when we got to my last kid, I was just like, I can't do this one more time. And one of my teenagers needed money, and I said, I'll give you $10 if you will teach your sister how to tie her shoes. And he was like, are you kidding me? Like, that's it? And I was like, yeah, but she has to be able to do it by herself. Done.
I
I don't know why I waited so long.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. I actually just had a conversation with my sister the other day about filling Easter eggs because we're having a family Easter egg hunt. And she's like, I'm like, is that going to be stressful for you? She's a single mom and has a lot going on. And she's like, oh, no, I'm just going to pay one of my kids a bag of Cadbury eggs and have them do it for me. And I'm
There
like,
you can.
brilliant.
And you can do that
Fantastic.
with Christmas presents or Hanukkah or birthday presents, whatever you have to do to wrap. You can hire that out.
I love it. And what a fun experience for your son and daughter to have had that, like, oh, my parents didn't teach me to tie my shoes, my brother did.
Yeah.
Or is that what you said? That your son?
and I'm trying to do the same thing with one of my kids is learning how to drive. And again, this is another skill that I'm not very good at. Well, I'm not very patient. I do the thing where you stomp your foot on the floor of the, and they're like, why aren't you doing that? You're making me nervous, Mom. I'm like, I didn't say anything, And I try to always like be eating a sandwich or drinking something so that I don't scream. I really did a horrible job with my oldest son, and I still apologize to him all the time. Miles, if you're listening, I'm so sorry for the way that I tried to teach you how to drive a car. That was on me. I was not prepared. And so now I just had this conversation with one of my adult kids. I said, I really need you to do this. We need to get, their 40 hours of driving. I don't know if I can do it emotionally. Will you? Can I put you down for 10 hours?
I am
What's it gonna
already
take?
scared.
I will pay for gas. I will pay for sandwiches, whatever
Totally.
it is. And so we're in negotiation processes right now. But that's a little hack.
I love it. Mine's the thought that came to mind is a little bit in a different direction, but my life hack is minimizing my expectations for things.
Oh, that's a great hack.
And much easier said than done, obviously. But I will have these lofty ideas of things that maybe we want to do as a family or things I want to try, like let's say family scripture study, for example, that just I have this visual from I don't know what in my head of this ideal way that thing needs to happen. And then it won't. It will very imperfectly, noisily, or not everyone's there, or we, start and stop and start, whatever. but to do a new and simplified version of that thing and kind of reinvent it for our family. So right now, for example, we have family prayer in shifts, right? Whoever is leaving the house, we just say a quick prayer before that person leaves, or whoever's home and going to go to bed, we say a quick prayer with those people. So we may not have this incredible moment where as a family we kneel and bow, right? On occasion, that miraculously happens, but kind of shifting my expectation for things has helped me as a little life hack of this is family scripture study, me and Greta with my app open and reading a few verses or whatever it is, simplifying.
I love that because it's also a life hack of like for your mental wellness.
Yes, absolutely.
So wise, so wise. I remember it's like 10:30 at night as a teenager in bed asleep because I've got to wake up at 5 a.m. for like dance practice, and my family pulling me out of bed to have family prayer. I'm like, you guys, I told you I was going to bed a while ago. And so I just was like upset and resentful over it. So if we had just had shifts, that would have been great.
You can't do it that way. Come on.
I love that.
So smart.
Do you have any sort of like laundry or housekeeping hacks that will save us
Yes.
time or money?
Make your kids do their own laundry. Like starting younger than you think. Like really, they're totally capable. And now my kids, in fact, I just pulled my 15-year-old had his clothes in the dryer. So I pulled him out and put him in a basket. And I'm like, hey, I've got time. Do you want me to fold these for you? And he's like, oh no. Like they do not want me to touch their clothes now.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, this was the best idea ever. Like, and then they're responsible and they want to do it on their own and they feel really good about it. So that's great. And chores, split up chores. I'm sure. I mean, you have 6 kids. There's no possible way, right? that we can do it all. So,
and shouldn't do it all. My little laundry tip is, also 6 kids. And I think teaching them to do their own laundry is fantastic. Someone taught me the teach, train, and pass on model because I would often teach my kids to do things and then they wouldn't do them, right? And that there's the training phase of watching them imperfectly do that thing. And then you know when you're ready to pass it on. So sometimes there's some rescuing in there. Sometimes there's some, okay, I'm going to do your laundry because you're so far behind. But ultimately, it's the pass on. And then my second little laundry tip is we've got a large family and it's mounds and mounds to put away and make down to their bedrooms. And someone told me that they bought an IKEA 8 square, the 8 square with cubes. And we have one of those per person. And right when it comes out of the dryer, you immediately put it in their own bin, that little 8 square. And then everyone just takes their bin to their bedroom. So if there's a dryer full of clothes, it just goes right into their baskets.
Ooh.
And that's a little tip that has saved me a lot of time.
At what ages were your kids doing their own laundry?
okay, so my oldest started at like 12. And that's probably about my boys too. But then my twins saw their older siblings doing laundry. And at 9, they're like, we want to start doing our own laundry. And I'm like, okay. So we kind of showed them how to do it. And they needed help for a few years, a little bit. But now my 9-year-old, the other day, he grabbed his basket and I saw him pouring it in the washer. And I'm like, should we divide those up? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, I don't care.
You have to decide what you care about. When I decided long ago to never, I'm just going to sing, never give up. Isn't that, are those
Walking in anyone's shadows.
If I fail. I decided long ago never to worry about pairs of socks. I don't care if my
I love
kids'
it.
socks match. I had to give that up. It was causing me a lot of angst.
Well, now it's cool.
Now it's cool.
On trend.
Okay, well, so money is tight for most of us, right? Like, so what are your financial, budget-friendly, money-saving hacks?
Well, food is a big thing, right? Especially like, I know it's like we all need to eat.
Yeah, you can't cut it out of the budget.
Can't really cut that out.
Do we?
But I find when I meal plan and like buy things for multiple meals, like I save a ton of money. Like it helps a ton just to meal plan and buy those specific ingredients. And then I'm less likely to buy something that's like, oh, that looks really good, at the store. So I think just planning ahead helps a lot for us budget-wise. When money was really tight, my husband was in graduate school, and we just found that we could get by on a lot less than we thought. I think sometimes you just have to think, do I really need this? I can get by with less, or I don't need that new thing. And teaching your kids that, it also is tricky. But hey, like, do we really need this? Do you want to spend your money on that? And maybe involve the kids too. Like I came back to my Greenlight app. Like, if they want something now, they just have to like buy it. It's like, do you have money for that? Okay, well, I guess you can't buy that today.
When there were 7 of us living in home, like meal planning and doing things in bulk and then like freezing some of it and stuff totally saved money. And now that I'm a single mom and I'm working and my kids are older and really mostly it's just 2 of us for dinner at night, like that kind of meal planning and stuff it doesn't save me time or money. And so it's so interesting to me because I thought, oh, I'll do this forever. It doesn't matter what phase of life because I'm like, you make a big pan of lasagna. I don't want to eat lasagna for lunch and dinner for 2 weeks, that's how much it makes.
Yeah.
Like that, you got to rethink that. And so I find that it's interesting of that, like I cook less or, I budget in different ways. It kind of shifts because now it's, you spend your money on different things based on like your changing family needs. It's always those transitions that I find that like are hard to, just to find, your specific life example and how you can save money during that part. That's hard for me.
I think that's one of our main responsibilities as a mom is to figure out how to pivot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
can I just figure out how to pivot into all these different things? Money. I am thinking, I'm pretty like intense about just trying to spend as little as possible. I think because I grew up, my cute, sweet dad who was super impressive, but his body was how he made his money. And so there was a time when he got mono. Like, you can't have a distance runner with mono. Like, that doesn't work. So we had a couple things. He got hit by a car at some point. That ended his career. So we were like, oh, here we go. So definitely have experienced the whole, like, Bishop Storehouse, like, that kind of experience. And I'm so grateful, actually. It's been one of the most valuable life experiences to realize I was the oldest child. So, like, you, like, feel that innate like responsibility. Even though you're a kid, you kind of also feel like a parent a little bit. And so it was really good for me to realize that, okay, we don't have a lot of money and this is a stressful thing and we've got to be careful with, what we do and don't spend and the whole bit. And that's definitely gone with me all growing up. Like, as a college student, I could not live the paycheck to paycheck thing that all the rest of my friends were doing. Like, that was just so stressful. So I had a solid, like, little savings account that was like, okay, no, I will be fine if something were to happen.
That's super responsible at that age too.
I mean, I tried to just have like, I can't go out to eat. I can't go buy, a bunch of new clothes because I just would get too nervous when my bank account would get a little bit lower. And all my friends were like, oh, it's fine. Like, I'll pay you on Monday because I literally have no money right now. I'm like, I would be freaking out in the corner somewhere. And so at this point, I think I've had to actually shift. I've had to pivot because it's like, okay, how much stress is this worth to like go to 7 different stores to find the absolute best price on, whatever it is that we need. It's like my time versus the money that we've got, like, what is that worth? And so that's kind of, I don't have a great answer for like, what's this mom hack of saving money other than just like take a step back and realize like, okay, is it better to go and like do a job that I'm going to make some money for, but I'm not home. So I am actually going to like, for the first time in my life, I'm going to pay someone to clean my house. Like, that whole weighing and measuring and figuring out what is the most important thing and, time versus money versus the quality of something, all of it.
And everybody has to figure that out for themselves. I know it would be so easy if there were just like follow these calculations and, X plus A minus 2
carry the
1 equals what you should do.
Yeah.
But being able to pivot and be able to say, nope, my time is worth it. Like, I'm not going to mentally have to worry about this anymore and then shift things around is important. So to kind of wrap things up, I'd like to get everyone's perspective on the best piece of mom advice that they've ever received.
oh gosh, how do you even answer that?
Well, best is what makes that question hard. Thank you, Lisa.
Most meaningful for you.
Yes.
I know.
I think a couple of things come to my mind. The first is someone once told me that you either love someone or you don't understand them. And I have thought about that little phrase. It was years ago, so many times in my mothering, because I love all of my children, right? I love my family, and I'm so grateful for them. But as I have had my kids change throughout the years, I have been posed with new challenges in knowing how to parent that child in that stage, in that trial, or in that new phase or experience. And as I have prayed to understand them better, I have felt my love for each one of them grow, which I didn't even know needed to grow. Mm-hmm. But I feel like having that external Heavenly Father's pair of eyes to help me see my children for who they are in that moment and what they might need has greatly blessed kind of my eyes to see my children and love them in the way that they needed at that phase and stage of life.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to remember that. That is really good. I think when I had just had my 6th baby, and I remember feeling so overwhelmed, like, how can I meet the needs of each of my children? And I was talking to my mom about it, and she said, you don't have to be the one to always meet all their needs. And she's like, even just involving your older kids, like you said, like outsourcing, right?
Just out of my desperation, but yes.
Yeah. To just,
I mean, I did that intentionally. Yes.
Love that. But really, like, that was a hard thing for me to let go because I felt like I had to be the one to be everything to them, but to realize that it's okay if I'm not, and that there's other people that can kind of come in and be something that my kids need. I feel like it's kind of been life-changing, really. And it's good for my children, too.
Yeah, it is. I think so.
Oh, I love it. Goodness, I think this isn't necessarily a piece of advice that somebody else gave me, but almost a piece of advice that Heavenly Father gave me. Like, once I kind of got this one specific piece of inspiration and understanding, it really changed a lot of, or just deepened this role of mother that I have. And that's when I figured out, or was blessed with the inspiration, that these kids that I have, I actually knew them before. Like, we were literal friends before this life. And that just was like, it did a few things for me. One, it made me look at them as almost like peers. Like, oh, we were all just like buddies and friends. And like, I saw them less of like a responsibility and more of like an equal individual person. And then also it made me think like, these individual people that I am so obsessed with, and so I just think I admire these precious little people. They're impressive and amazing and smart and charismatic, and like, so, that whole thing where the second generation that's coming up is like, so like, we can't hold a candle to these young ones that are coming up and are so amazing. And so to think like, wow, I was given the responsibility to kind of like almost coach them through this life. Like, I'm your buddy. We've been friends before, and I'm now in the position in this mortal life to like help teach you and help you learn and grow and become the best possible version of yourself. And, as you make this world the incredible place that it can be because you're in it. And when I thought about that, like, what an honor. I'm totally gonna cry. And no, I'm not gonna cry. I feel so amazingly honored to have been given this responsibility to parent these 3 precious kids that I have. And so when I realized that, it changed a lot. It was not this chore. Like, how sometimes you just going through the motions of being a mom, like getting the day taken care of and teaching them and, helping them figure stuff out. I really shifted my perspective as far as like, what is it? Like Kung Fu Panda, you've got like this master, like Kung Fu master, they like revere their master. They're like teaching them this incredible art. I don't know, this is ridiculous, but I really felt like it's this much more honored position that's like special and impressive, and it kind of took away that monotony and that just like meh, and helped me realize like, no, they are in a unique position, you are in the unique position. And I just was so overwhelmed and grateful to my Heavenly Father that He would trust me and give me this position. And I'm just so honored to have that. So that's really kind of changed things for me.
The Lisa Show is a production of BYU Radio, and today's episode was produced by McKay Menden, Richie T. Stedman, and me, Lisa Valentine Clark. And we have questions and places for you to put all your questions all over social media if you visit The Lisa Show, wherever you go, and kind of keep in touch with friends. We'd love to hear your questions, or you can email us at thelisashow@byu.edu. Thanks for listening to The Lisa Show.